What's up, Team Icon? It's Coach Cruz coming at you live to talk about the importance of stretching and mobility, not just for performance, but predominantly for aesthetic, and how doing things like foam rolling, mobility drills, and then any sort of static stretches can actually impact the way your physique looks aesthetically, right? Because this is a topic that I could talk about till I'm blue in the face. So I put together like a bit more of a condensed presentation to kind of get the point across. Now, I'm going to start off by saying that, a lot of people kind of assume that, like, especially clients kind of assume that because I'm putting so much stretching and mobility in their program, that it's strictly for performance. But because the vast majority of people that I work with have goals pertaining to aesthetics and kind of the look to their physique, that is a huge component of it as well, right? So something as simple as foam rolling your lats or your rotator cuffs, which every single one of you, I have you doing, because 99.9% of the population is very forward rounded right now, okay? And that is actually the example I'm gonna run through right now in regards to how stretching, mobility, and soft tissue work can actually impact your physique. So as an example, okay, this is me. If you're wondering why I'm topless, this is why, because I'm trying to get the point across so you can actually see my anatomy and see what's going on. So this is me currently. I haven't done any sort of stretching and mobility. This is me just sitting fully relaxed. You can see that my shoulders are very pulled forward. We're doing a lot of driving today. I've been in and out of town, and I've been seated for the vast majority of the day, right? So if you look at my physique, as I currently am, right? On the screen, yeah. You can see that, I don't look as broad as I normally would. Even my chest isn't as broad, right? But now, because I've done it so much over the years, I can tell kind of how I look before and after, which is a live stream that I will do in the future as well, like an actual dynamic one where I'm running through the stretch and mobility. But after I do just even simply open up my lats and my rotator cuffs, that foam rolling drill that I have all of you guys running through to actually, break down the muscle tissue in the lats and really open up the rotator cuffs. After that, I go from this, typically, to this, okay? Now, automatically, you can see how much more broad my chest looks, just as an example, right? As the first example. From where I'm normal, like where I feel natural, if I just let loose, to when my posture is opened up. You can even see from my back, when I'm just fully relaxed, right? Versus when my posture is fully opened up and I am standing anatomically correct, because this is technically how we're supposed to be standing, okay? Our anatomical posture is not meant to be pulled forward like this, and I find it ironic that growing up we were always told that puffing our chest out is arrogant, when in all reality, this is just how you're supposed to be standing. Your regular anatomical stance is supposed to be shoulders peeled back, chest open and broad, and this is actually ultimately how you're supposed to look. So again, just to give you guys the contrast, me fully relaxed right now after a full day of like being in a seated position, forward rounded, driving, this is how I am, right? And then after I do get just one drill, right? Just one drill, foam rolling my lats and opening up my rotator cuff, I can guarantee you that this is more or less what my posture would look like, okay? Then again, just a quick turnaround to give you the contrast of like this is relaxed, right? And this is after doing stretching and mobility. You can automatically see the difference in my physique. Now, the second kind of demonstration that I want to give you guys, this is more for my females out there, right? Now, we've probably all seen this before, where you have an anterior pelvic tilt, okay? So two things happen here. The hips start to ultimately like really lock and seize, and this can cause a lot of lower back pain when the pelvis is tilted back, but also it can really skew your perspective on your booty gains, okay? Because normally what you're supposed to be standing like this. So hips are actually supposed to be tucked and in alignment with your torso, and then you can automatically see that even my butt kind of shrunk once I'm standing properly. right? So with a anterior pelvic tilt, butt popping out, you can see my butt looks a little bit bigger, but when I'm in my regular, like normal stance, you can see my butt looks a little bit smaller. And the point being, when you're gauging progress, it's of course better to have proper posture and mobility throughout your whole body, so you could get, a good contrast of whether or not you're progressing properly, and you could keep your body safe from injury, okay? Now, I want to talk quickly about like how I came to learn this, right? And why I chose to use this as the topic for my second live stream. And I have to reiterate that most people, especially friends and previous clients, think that like when I'm putting stretching mobility, it's strictly for performance, A, and B, that I don't do it on a day-to-day basis myself. But that is far from the truth, right? Stretching, mobility, and soft tissue work will impact your aesthetic of your physique and how you actually look drastically, okay? And I do it almost every other day, right? Even you guys have seen now, going back to the lower back injury, that was a little bit out of the ordinary. Like I was doing excessive amounts of quote unquote rehab, stretching and mobility. But, that doesn't mean that I don't do it on the regular, right? Typically, when I'm not injured on a week-to-week basis, I will do a minimum of 2 to 3 hours collectively throughout the week of stretching and mobility. Now, yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to really hit home here. The fact that not only is doing your foam rolling, your stretching, and all of your mobility drills going to help your performance in the gym, which will then in return help you sculpt the body that you want, but even just the way you look aesthetically will not, you will not get a clear picture of it if everything isn't open, if blood flow isn't, restored back to your body and everything is kind of like tight and restricted, and, even imbalances can really throw off the aesthetic of how you look. And that's why like 99% of you I've actually spoken to about, finding physical therapists to work with, whether it be deep tissue massage therapists, fascial stretch therapists, chiropractors, and physios, even if your primary goals are aesthetic, okay? So this one was a relatively short one, but I will elaborate. And just to kind of give you insight on how these live streams will evolve, I'll get a little bit more interactive, right? So I'll actually start running specific drills for any given live stream. Like for instance, if I want to cover the rotator cuff foam roller lat release, then I'll do that on the next live stream. But I'm covering the 3, so I'm going to be doing Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday every single week. The time is still to be determined. This week, I'm just testing what 4:30 p.m. looks like in regards to turnout. And then next week, I'll test other times, and then I'll see what works best for the time moving forward. And then I'll lock that time in. But I will be covering things like stretching mobility, like I did today, any training techniques and modalities that I've learned over the years that I could, dive a little bit deeper in on the live stream, and then nutrition and mindset. So those are kind of the 4 topics that I'll revolve through. And as we go further along and progress further along into the live streams, I'll get a little bit more interactive. And then once I feel like I've built out, a quote unquote curriculum via the live streams, then I'm just going to keep circling back and, adding and subtracting based upon what I believe could get better. So, whoa, a lot of you tuned in live. Shout out to all you guys. I appreciate you to the max. The next live stream will be on Saturday, and that will be more nutrition centric. Okay. But for now, Coach Cruz is logging off. Peace, love, and tons of protein. May the gains be with y'all.